Hello and welcome to another video. In today's video, we're going to be talking about a very serious issue that plagues all of us, and that is the pile. It might be clean clothes, it might be dirty clothes, or it might be clothes you've collected from thrift stores over the last 3 years and convinced yourself that you'll do something with them. But we've all got the pile. If you're like me, you've got the third one, and also the first and second. This is my pile. It's magnificent, I know. It's taken a lot of hard work to compile this many clothes that I don't wear. But today, I'm gonna make them wearable. Because I get overwhelmed quickly and constantly, I'm gonna start with an easy one. I like this skirt a lot, and it's actually one in this pile that I have worn. I wore it to work one day, and it's one of those cute little classic skirts that has buttons on the front that you probably can't even see. And I discovered very quickly that it's also one of those types of skirts that the buttons come open all the time. So that was really fun. And then to just add insult to injury, one of the buttons fell off, which is why it's pinned on there with a straight pin right now. That's the only way I kept it on the rest of the day. So we're gonna fix that. Obviously, we're gonna start with sewing the button back on. So all I'm gonna do for the buttonholes is just use a zigzag stitch and go over the very kind of corner of it, just a tiny bit, because it's really not bad. It's just when you're wearing it, they just fall open sometimes and it's really uncomfortable. And I don't really use these buttons a lot except for maybe the top two just to get them on and off. So I'm not really worried if they're super tight because they don't get used a lot. Also, someone else, whoever owned this to begin with originally, must have had the same issue because I was taking it apart and I got to the bottom button and it's just stitched, like there's a little piece of hand stitching just holding it together. So this must not be a new problem with the skirt. Next. Normally everything that I upcycle is stuff that I've bought secondhand and I'm trying to give a new life to it. But the next two garments that I have actually are ones that I bought new, which I just never do, but hear me out on this. I've got two dresses. They're both super pretty and colorful. I love them. They are both from Walmart. What happened was, I don't know, probably 2 months ago, they were having like a summer clearance sale and they had a couple entire racks of clothing that they were either $1, $2, or $3 a piece. And just from my experience working in retail, when things are marked down that significantly, mind you, both of these were $30 a piece to begin with. When they are marked down to $3, it is probably likely that the next step for them, if they don't sell, is a dumpster. So that's part of my justification. Another thing that I did that's kind of questionable that I don't usually do is that these are a plus size, which I don't need and I try not to buy because I know that those options are limited anyways. But again, these were not the only two on the rack and there was probably 5 or 6 of each one that were all plus size options. And I went to Walmart last week and they still had some. So they certainly are not something that's in high demand. So that's my justification, not to mention the fact that I don't know what thrift stores everyone else is going to, but I have not bought a dress for $3 or less from a thrift store for a long time. So it's cheaper than buying it secondhand at this point, but I'm still giving them a new, fresh life. They're maxi dresses that, like I said, they are too big for me. So I'm gonna be turning them into long skirts because I'm a skirt girly. I love my skirts. And I'm probably never gonna stop loving them because I just love separates and pairing things together. So I'm gonna chop them in half, add elastic to them, and I got 2 skirts. even though I think that this second skirt is really pretty, I think I could probably zhuzh it up a little bit with some of the mini yards of white rickrack that I have and make it look a little bit more kind of retro. So I'm going to be adding some of this to each layer. Next project is this. This is a men's extra large corduroy shirt, and I originally bought it with the intentions of just taking it in because it's a really nice quality corduroy and I really like the color, but I kind of realized that corduroy is really dense. This one's really dense, it's really bulky, and I don't really see myself ever wearing a corduroy button down like I wear usual button downs or regular button downs because of how bulky it is. So I'm gonna try and turn it into a lightweight jacket. I've got this plaid fabric that I thought might pair really nicely as a lining and add a little bit more thickness to it. It's definitely giving like fall apple picking vibes, so not really a January look, but that's fine because I still think it's really cute and I will actually wear it then. I decided to use this yellow silky fabric for the sleeves so that my sleeves slide in really easily when I put it on. So usually when I'm making a project, the more meticulous I am, the better it seems to turn out. You know, if I really try to be careful in my measurements and think through what I'm going to be doing and just go slow through the process, measure twice, cut once, things go better. And I'm going to be honest, I was rushing this coat. So please explain to me why this turned out so well. I had no expectations that this coat would be just so cute, but like, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? This is all I had to do was just like stop trying so hard and just rush through and not think about it, and like muscle memory or something would kick in. Like, I cannot explain enough how, this sounds bad, but how little effort I was putting into this. I was already not feeling all that confident about being able to just like casually line a shirt to make it a coat, and I was making plans for what I could do with this corduroy once I messed it up. And I love it. I think this is my favorite thing I've made so far. Should I just stop trying on all my projects? How? So I really like how this turned out. I do feel like I unintentionally made it look like an outfit that I would wear in a grunge band in the 90s, but I really like it. It's super comfortable. I really think this piece gives a whole new meaning to shacket, because if we're being honest, this is like the most shacket ever, because it actually used to be a shirt and now it's a jacket. I'm gonna pause for tonight because I'd like to eat dinner, and this is the 4th thing I've finished today, so I'll be back later. For the next upcycle, I'm gonna be tackling 3 garments in one, because they're all different sweaters that have random holes in them. I've actually worn all of them and then later discovered the holes. So I've got this white cardigan, I've got this cashmere sweater, which I'm pretty sure that's not the hole. I'm pretty sure it's like moth damage in this one, but I'm gonna do my best to fix that. And the last one you've already seen because I wore it yesterday, and it wasn't until I took it off that I realized it's had this hole in it that nobody told me about. I wore this to the store. You weren't gonna say anything? I like to take every opportunity that I get to justify my craft hoarding, and this jar right here is just about every scrap from every knitting project that I've completed in about the last 2 years. And finally, it has a purpose. I'm going to use the scraps from previous projects to match to the sweaters that I'm trying to mend. So now I can keep this around forever. I'm going to be the first to say that the mending that I do on these sweaters is not very good. Knit fabric is really hard to stitch together and make look good. I know there's ways to do it, but it kind of confuses me. So I did my best on these. Now this red sweater was especially difficult because some of the holes were so big that I just could not make the mending blend in enough to look decent. So what I ended up doing was adding some pretty little embroidery flowers around the top to make it look a little bit more intentional. I, again, really have no idea what I'm doing when it comes to embroidery, so I'm sure that's completely obvious if you do embroider at all. This red sweater also took forever because there were gobs of tiny little holes, which is why I'm pretty sure it's moth damage. In fact, by the end of mending it, to make sure I found them all, I was going across the entire sweater and pulling it to make sure no little gaps opened up because it was really hard to find every single tiny little hole because they were all over the place. I only ended up adding the visible embroidery flowers around the neckline as well, just because I felt like everywhere else it was either hidden enough that you wouldn't notice the mending, or the hole was so small that it wasn't really worth taking the time, because those embroidery flowers took forever, as much as I love how much they look. So the rest of the places that I mend, I just left solid red. This looks like a good one to do next. So this is a 100% linen dress. It is midi length, so I've got quite a bit of fabric here. It's a Goodwill Bins find, and if I do say so myself, it is incredibly outdated. No disrespect, because this is something I feel like my mom would have worn, and also it looks like it was recently dry cleaned. I'm gonna be cutting it up. You know, for this video, I was trying to think of like what clothes I could make that were February, January seasonal, like kind of midwinter seasonal, and I feel like I have made summer and fall things, so whatever. This is gonna end up being really summery because I love these silly little frogs and flowers, and there's more. When you go down, look at that pocket. Are you kidding me? That's adorable. So I'm gonna still try to integrate those. What I wanna do is make a bit of a patchwork, like jumper type thing. And I'm gonna be kind of mixing some colors in to make it even a little bit more brighter. So I've got the blue and the green. I've also got this 100% linen shirt that has also been living in my pile. So we're doing 2 in 1 here. And then I've got some linen scraps from a pair of pants that I made about a little over a year ago. So I've got some orange as well. So it's gonna be really fun, summery, springy colors that are not in season at all, but whatever. So there's been a change of plans. I told myself before starting this project, I'm not gonna make a skirt. I love skirts, I love making them, I make them all the time, but Sometimes I feel like it's a little bit of a fallback because they are basically just like a rectangle with tapers at the top. So they're pretty easy. So I just had told myself before starting this project, I'm not gonna make a skirt out of this. And I'm cutting it out and I'm just like not feeling very confident for a couple reasons. Because first of all, linen can be kind of bulky. I love linen. I'm here for linen, but especially this green one in particular that the dress was out of is it is moderately stiff. It's not something that I would call like flowy at all. The other two fabrics that I have are lighter weight linen, so they're like pretty flowy, pretty comfy, but especially this green one is pretty stiff. So I was really worried about making it into almost like a type of dress because I just felt like it was going to be really stiff and uncomfortable. Also, I don't feel like I would wear it as much. You know, my purpose with upcycling and really making clothes in general is making stuff that I'm gonna wear, and I know I wear skirts all the time. So I know that if I make a skirt, I will wear it, but if I make a dress, I do not wear those nearly as often. I just don't reach for them. I don't know, I love skirts. So that's another thing. Finally, my biggest reason why it was just kind of like my final sign that I was like, yes, this makes sense, was the shirt, this one actually, that I was gonna cut up. I didn't buy this to upcycle. It's one that I just wanted to wear. I love an oversized linen shirt in the summertime to wear over tank tops and stuff. It's one of my favorite outfits to wear in summer. And that's what I bought this for, but it just was a little too oversized. It was just too much shirt. So I thought I'll just put it in my upcycle pile. Well, I thought, what if I just cut the sleeves off? Because it was long sleeved. And I really kind of thought like maybe that's the issue. Well, I kind of like it a lot more now. So I think I'm just gonna hem the short sleeves, and like I got a shirt I'm actually gonna wear. But that means I don't really have enough fabric to make like a whole top of a jumper. So maybe I've solved two problems in one here. Plus I'm getting two garments instead of one that I could wear even more, and I'll have way less random scraps of linen. So I think it's a win-win. I'm still gonna use like the little bug motifs from the dress because I think they're so cute, and I've got a couple ideas of how to integrate my scraps into the skirt. So it's gonna be great. It's gonna be great. I've been trying really hard recently to pay more attention to the small details on my garments because I think it just adds to the overall look a lot if you can have really clean lines and things. And I'd just like to point out where I matched this seam up, if you can even see it. This one down here is the original seam of the skirt, and I just made this on the waistband. Like, it looks like it was meant to be. I'm immensely proud. Usually when I'm making a project, I like try it on a few times throughout the process, and this one I just really didn't. So let's hope it fits correctly. I feel like I'm feeling a little better about the drapiness of it. I added a few pleats up here at the top, I don't know if you can see them very well, around the pockets, of which I added a second one to kind of balance it out here on the front. And I feel like it's real cute, but we'll see if it fits. Well, I have upcycled and or repaired a total of 9 garments, which I feel pretty good about, and I really like what I came up with here. The unfortunate part is that my pile looks no smaller. So if you'd like to see more content like this, make sure you subscribe, because I'll definitely be making more upcycling videos because I want this pile to not be here anymore. I'm tired of looking at it. So I hope to see you back again here sometime soon. Thanks for watching.